Hello, beautiful people of the internet. My name is Ellie and bienvenidos to my YouTube channel. Today I'm coming at you with something really exciting, and that is my Sailor Moon-A-Thon TBR. And I'm repping some Sailor Moon right now. If you guys don't know, B from Bookish Pisces, which I will leave all her information down below, created this read-a-thon that is going to be taking place from May 1st to May 20th. And it revolves all around the Sailor Scouts. Every scout has a team, and I happen to be on Team Saturn, and I'm super excited. Our leader for that is Nikki. I will leave all her information down below too. I'm so glad that she created this read-a-thon. Sailor Moon is my first love. It's what started my love for anime and manga. I'm super excited to be taking part in this read-a-thon. If you guys are excited to see my TBR, go ahead and keep on watching. Sailor Moon-A-Thon was created by B at Bookish Pisces, and we are all in teams based on the Sailor Scouts. And the way that it's set up is that within our team, we have to read a team book. And then we have challenges based on the Sailor Scouts for books that we can read. Aside from our team book, there is a group book that everyone is required to read, and that is Beds Are for Flowers by RK Gold, which he is also a AuthorTube / booktuber, and I will leave his information down below as well. That is the one book that everyone, regardless of team, has to read. Within my team of Sailor Saturn, our group book is The Bone Witch by Chupeco. Because I've already read our team book, I have to pick someone else's team book to read. There's a website that was created for this read-a-thon where we can track the pages from the books that we're reading, and at the very end, whatever team has the most pages wins. So the book that I will be reading to replace The Bone Witch for our team book is going to be Sailor Jupiter's team book, which is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, which is, I believe this is an adult fantasy novel. This is about our main character, Rin, who is an orphan who ends up with her aunt and uncle who want to have her get married to gain money. And Rin doesn't want that, so she ends up passing a test and ends up going into a military academy where she ends up quickly becoming a star pupil, and that's all I know. This was a very popular book in 2018, and I really want to read this. I've been wanting to get to this book for so long, and now is the perfect opportunity. The next challenges are all based on the Sailor Scouts. And the first challenge is Sailor Moon, which is reread one of your favorite books. Of course, I am going to be reading Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. Not only was this one of my top favorite books of 2018, but the sequel, which is Soul of the Sword, is coming out in June. And I want to reacquaint myself with this world and Yumeko and Tatsumi because I want to be refreshed for Soul of the Sword. It's one of my most anticipated releases of 2019, so I'm going to be rereading this one. Next up is Sailor Mercury, and for that is read a book that challenges you, and I'm going to be reading An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. The reason that I'm picking this as a challenge is because I have already DNF'd this book once, and you can see my bookmark is right there. I got to page 88 and I DNF'd it because it was just getting very boring for me to read. So I'm picking this back up and hoping to finish it because I do like the idea of the plot that this is taking, where our main character is a very talented painter and she ends up committing the crime of painting emotion onto the Fae Prince's eyes. I've heard mixed reviews on this, but there are people who I trust who have similar reading tastes to me who have really enjoyed it. So I want to give this a second chance. I want to pick it back up and finish it and see what I think of the whole story. Hopefully I don't DNF it again. For the next challenge is Sailor Mars, which is read a book that includes the element of fire in any way. So for this challenge, I'm going to be reading The Lantern's Ember by Colleen Houck. This is a YA fantasy. This book is about our main character, Ember, who is a natural born witch And there is a certain bridge in her town which, if you cross it, leads to the other world, which is a magical world, and she is drawn to this bridge. However, there's a man named Jack who protects this bridge from people like her who are drawn to it, who want to go to the other world. However, there is a romance that ends up happening between some of our characters, and it wouldn't be a book if our main character didn't try to cross that bridge to go into the other world. I have had this book on my TBR for so long, and I'm finally gonna get to it, and this fulfills the Sailor Mars challenge, as Ember is what starts a fire. The next challenge is for Sailor Jupiter, and that is read a book that is more than 400 pages. And for this challenge, I'm going to be reading Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This is the 6th book in the Harry Potter series. I'm also doing Reading with Ryan's Harry Potter read-along, so this will kill 2 birds with 1 stone, as this is more than 400 pages. So this is 542 pages. And this is about Harry and finding out who the Half-Blood Prince is. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm weary of reading this book because I know what happens and I'm not ready for it. The next challenge is Sailor Venus, which we have to read a book with a character that has special abilities. And for this, I'm going to be reading The Last Namsara by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is the first book in a series. The only thing I know about this book is that our main character can summon dragons and has special abilities. A lot of people that I know who share the same reading taste as me have loved this book, have loved this series. So I'm super excited to read this and finally get to it. The next challenge is Tuxedo Mask, which for that is read a romance novel. And for this challenge, I'm going to be reading A Girl Like Her by Talia Hibbert. In this book, we follow Ruth, who is very nerdy and who's very shrewd. She doesn't really like people. She keeps to herself, is very guarded. The only person that she seems to have some sort of connection with is her neighbor named Evan, who is an ex-military guy who's tatted up and swoon-worthy, who is one of those characters that is hard on the outside but a cinnamon roll on the inside. He has an ability to befriend even the most shrewdest characters until he meets Ruth, who he ends up having a thing for. I'm super excited to read this because I can relate to any main character who is super nerdy and reads comics, and for a main character who is tatted up and swoon-worthy and sexy. The next challenge is Chibiusa, which is Mini Moon. We have to read a novella. I'm going to be reading The Lost Sisters by Holly Black, which is the novella between the Cruel Prince and the Wicked King. I'll be real with y'all. The only reason I'm reading this book is because I don't have novellas in my book collection, and I do really like the Folk of the Air series. I don't like Taryn. I just don't like her as a character, and this book is all about Taryn. This book is the in-between of explaining why Taryn did what she did to Jude in The Cruel Prince and how she ended up in her relationship. I want to read this novella and see what she has to say. I'm not holding my breath for this book to persuade me to like her. The next challenge is Sailor Saturn, which is read a standalone. And for this book, I'm going to be reading Dragon Pearl by Yoon-Ha Lee. This is a middle grade fantasy, I believe. This book is about our main character who comes from a long line of fox spirits. So she already has some magic in her, but she feels that she could be doing more with her life, and she is meant for more than living in the planet that she lives on. She has an older brother who left to join the Space Forces, which is kind of like their military, and she aspires to be like him and to join him in this force, but then gets word that her brother has deserted his position to go in search of a legendary artifact called the Dragon Pearl. Her sister can't believe this and makes it her mission to try and clear her brother's name and to find him to prove that he's not a deserter. I love Asian mythology. This is based on Korean mythology, as Yoon-Ha Lee is Korean, and I have been wanting to read this book for so long. This also doubles up for me as this fulfills the Sailor Saturn challenge for reading a standalone, and also this is the Dragons and Tea Book Club book pick for the month of May, which is hosted by Mel from Mel to the Any and Amy. I can't wait to read this book. I'm so excited to see what Yoon-Ha Lee has in store. The next challenge is Sailor Uranus, which is read a book with a gorgeous cover. And for this, I'm super excited because I'm going to be reading Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. Look at how gorgeous this cover is. I can't even begin to tell you how gorgeous this is and how gorgeous it's going to be in a physical form. I am so grateful to have gotten approved for this arc from NetGalley. This is also an Asian inspired book, and it is the first book in a series called The Blood of Stars. So this book is about our main character who dresses up as a boy to go into a competition to create 3 magical dresses, one for the sun, one for the moon, and one for the stars. In this book, we follow our main character Maya, who aspires and dreams of becoming the greatest tailor in this land. Even though people in this land believe that the only aspiration that females should have is to become a wife. One day, a messenger from the palace comes to her family and her ailing father, who was once a renowned tailor, to go to court. However, because he is sick, she ends up deciding to go under the guise of a boy and take his place to go to this castle. And she ends up in a competition where she has to compete with 12 other tailors to become the tailor for the court. The way that it was blurbed is Project Runway meets Mulan. I'm so down for that. I love Mulan. She has to be one of my favorite Disney princesses ever. And I love Project Runway. I can't wait to get to this book. The next challenge is Sailor Neptune, which is read a contemporary novel, and for this I'm also going to be reading another arc, which is The Perfect Date by Evelyn Lozada. So this book is about our main character Angel, who is a single mom who is doing everything in her power to provide for her son. And the last thing on her mind is dating and flirting with anyone until she meets Caleb, who's an up-and-coming star for the Yankees, which is a baseball team. And Caleb has his own problems as he is a notorious playboy, and after his last breakup, he turned to alcohol, which then got him into trouble when he ended up at a party instead of training, which he then ends up getting suspended and sent back to the Bronx to get his head straight. Their lives collide when both of them meet each other at a club, and she wants nothing to do with Caleb, but he is persistent and won't let her go. Again, I'm so excited to have been provided this arc by NetGalley, and I can't wait to get to it. And our last challenge is Sailor Pluto, which is read a dystopian novel. And for this, I'm going to be reading Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. This is the sequel to Scythe, which is about our main characters Citra and Rowan in this world where they have conquered death and who have conquered disease. In this world, in order for it to continue to have a balance and for it not to head into overpopulation, there are these people who are named Scythes, who have the job of gleaning people, which is to kill them, in order to keep this balance and not go into disarray. So this is just a continuation of Scythe and the story of Rowan and Citra, and I have waited a long time. I don't know why I haven't picked this up yet since I read Scythe last year, and I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to get to this. So those are the challenges, and those are the books that I'm going to be reading for Sailor Moon-A-Thon. And like I said, this is going to be from May 1st to May 20th, so this is going to be a 3-week long read-a-thon, and I'm super excited for it. I'm hoping to read all of these books within that time, so here's to hoping. Are you guys participating in Sailor Moon-A-Thon? If you are, what team are you on? And what are you reading? I really want to know. Let me know what you guys are reading. Are there any other readathons that are happening? Let me know your thoughts down below on what you're reading. Are you joining? I'll leave all the information for you guys to sign up and everything down below, and everybody that I mentioned. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell will let you know when I do upload. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope that you guys are having a good day, night, wherever you are. I wish you nothing but great happiness and health always. I will see you in my next video.